Hello, hello everybody! We start today our musical kitchen, my vocal kitchen, and I'm here, Olena. Okay, so I think in some minutes we will have more visitors, but we can start now.
Where do you see where the visitors are?
Yeah, here.
Aha.
Here we will see visitors.
Ah, okay.
But
oh well, two is company. This one.
hello, hello, who is?
Hi.
Okay, Slava is coming. Slava is coming. Привет. Hello, hello. So today in my vocal kitchen, coming the brilliant of our theater, amazing, wonderful Sally du Rant.
Thanks, Sally.
Yeah, Sally, you are one of the singer that I don't know. It's like you know. For example, you adore some singer, and then you see this singer in life singing. It's passed with Sally because I never heard in my life such professional singer, like singer and like actress. Never in my life. In life. So, for example, we sang together Zauberflöte, magic flute, and Ariadne of Naxos. And Sally was Ariadne with this crazy role of Ariadne, and I was Zerbinetta. And in second act, Ariadne sings before Zerbinetta coming. And ever I'm out of the stage, backstage, yeah, like this with my ear and like this with my eyes, because Sally makes some incredible pianos with incredible forte, and this is like life masterclass ever for me, and I ever how so let's ask today Sally how you do it. how you sing and how you first question ever I ask my guests about your breathing, Sally. So could you tell us how you're breathing, how you're practicing?
Yes, breathing is very important. Even more important is to breathe out as well. I sometimes find that if I breathe too much and I don't let all the air out, then you sort of I always say you get stuck and you move up here, and then it doesn't help if you try to get the breath down. So what I sometimes do when I find that I'm like tense, I try to let all my breath out, and then I wait until just before you like fall over. You let your body breathe by itself. So let me just take this away for now. So you let all your breath out, like, and then you keep it out, and then don't breathe in, your body must. And then the breath is everything here at the bottom. Yeah. There are lots of times when you are singing fast, especially with your fach, you can't always breathe down. But it's very important to keep it down and to keep the breath here. It's like, maybe a stupid example, if you have a bottle of water, or a bottle, and you fill water in it, it fills up from below. Yeah. So it's important for the air to fill up from below, and you must get rid of this. Of course, as I say, in between, if you take a quick breath to go on, it's like, I try to have it here, nevertheless. Sometimes it's here, but very seldom. It's supposed to, because if you breathe too high, then you can't relax down, and then you get tense.
Yeah, tense, and you don't have nothing of support.
Yes, and in between it's always good to get the breath out as well, like breathing out before you start a note. It's not too much breathing out. It's not like I say you like go stuff like that, but it's like if you breathe in just before, just to release it. Because with singing, it doesn't matter what you do. There's always tension. There has to be tension, otherwise you'll fall over. But I think if the tension is below here and in the back, it's very important that the back.
Could you show it
from the side?
Yeah.
The side. The side. Okay.
Oh,
You must not be scared to show the tummy, because it goes. If you breathe in, it's like everything out there, and you're supposed to keep this up straight, up like here. And if you breathe out, you must not do that. So it's always breathing here. When it goes out, you keep this constant.
You open here.
Yeah, here and at the back. Yes, that's very important, especially for
ribs.
Yes, and for support.
For support.
Because if you don't have a good support, it doesn't matter what you do with your breathing. It must be together.
Okay.
If the breathing, the support helps the breathing and the notes to go like this. If the breathing and the support does not work together, you start getting notes like this.
Okay. So you start here, yes? You breathe.
Yes, I try. It's like you breathe everything out, and then you go here.
Okay.
Yes. And if you breathe, let it go out. It goes a little bit, goes in here. That's the way I'm sure there are other ways, other people also, but for me, I need the support here and at the back.
So you start to exhale from this part off, or
yes, it sort of goes from here, but you keep it here so that the flow goes out. If the flow goes out from here, you must just keep this up straight, straight. And when you breathe in again, it's not that you go like this or not like this, but there, here, there. And if you can get it very low, if you can get it here as well. And normally, if you breathe correctly, the back opens automatically. If it doesn't, you can always have if you have your hands very tight here and you just say tss, 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 or even with like you just say because you never think when you sing, when you speak, you don't think how to breathe, how to support.
Of course, yeah.
So with singing, I try to use the same rules. So if it's easy to say it must be easy to sing the same place, and the breathing as slow as possible.
Okay. Ever in all your register you think like this, or for example in middle of register, on low, on high register, something changed?
I try. I'm one of the few people, maybe, I don't know, that try not to think too much of registers.
Okay.
I always say, let's say your vocal cords are as long as my finger, which it's not, but I think that I start in the middle of my voice, of the vocal cords. So I try, when I sing, it took years, but I feel where I sing. And I try to keep it as close, all the notes as close to each other as I can.
Wow.
And I try to, instead of singing the notes, I sort of pull them. So for singing, I use a lot that I go into the body when I go up to a high note, or when I want to open a note or make it louder or softer, because you need a lot of support with soft notes as well. You can't just let it go. You need sometimes more support than for higher.
Could you show some exercise, for example, to show how you're working with your breathing?
Okay, there's one exercise, I always call it the witch. Because it starts, it's ugly. I always say, give me your ugliest note that you can do. It's like if you want to, like, something like that. And you start, let's say, with 5 notes. You start with very E. From this E you go into a R, and then when you have the R, which is ugly, then you open up the note, and then it's when I pull the note into the body, because for me, if you have the note, you need the space at the bottom and the space at the top to make the voice go like that.
But you start...
so I start here and I try to open it up. I don't know what it's going to sound like. Let's see. Okay. You can go into a softer note if the note sits correctly.
It's wonderful. Your overtones, it's like...
And it's really a great exercise. I've had a lot of success with it with people. Because, I mean, every singer is different. Everybody has something natural, and most of us have a lot to work on.
Yeah,
I always say people with who have everything just natural, they don't last as long as us, because we have to work a lot to get there, and you work through all the mistakes you can make and all the problems that one has, and the problems never stop.
No, the
Believe
problem
me.
never stop.
There are things now that when one sings a lot, I've been on stage like 33, 34 years now.
34 years, wow.
Yes.
It's impossible. It's impossible.
Different problems come. There are notes or things that I could, like, for years ago were easy, and that I now have to work on. And then there are other things, like years ago I thought I'm never going to get to it, that's easy, and it's very strange. But it's a continuous, you must work on your voice. I love working with voices, and I like looking for exercises I can do, because for every person, if I teach, I try to work out something different, because no voice is the same. You do have your little exercises that you can have for everybody, and then you expand.
It's wonderful. So I want to ask you about this exercise you've done. So you start with this, yes?
Yeah, if you think like a balloon, it would go, or if you want to someone say, you know.
So it's to preparing your, how to say this, resonator?
Yeah, resonance.
Resonance, to prepare it, yes? To prepare this...
spot on the, where you start with the voice.
Where you start, or where your voices go out, yeah?
Where you start, and then it goes. You have to open up here, and I pull into the body, because if you don't have the support, then the voice will crack.
Wow.
You must have the support here. I always think it's like an elastic band that you pull like that. So the voice, it's like, I think here, and then let's go a little bit higher, maybe. Oh, sorry. With to have, because if you have all this pressure, if you have the pressure here, you won't sing long.
Of course.
And so that's why I try, and that's why I say I pull to the notes.
And what happened when you do this dynamic of
diminuendo?
What happened in your body?
I keep the tension. The tension. The support. You're not. Even when you go softer, you can't lose the tension or the support in the body.
So the tension is the same, yeah?
Yes. Yeah.
But
different. It's like, how shall I explain? I just make it softer. It doesn't always work. It's really up to a certain note. It's very easy, and then it gets more difficult, and you have to really. That's why I say you think of staying on the same place on your vocal cords. You don't change anything. If you would let's say you sing yeah, and you just say yeah, ha, 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 ha. Those were 4 different places. If you think, I'll try that. I try to be on the same note or the same place that I start with. With ya,
Okay.
And it's really, you just think, where do I start? You can also pull into the notes to get them to be on the same spot. So for me is what helps me is with singing with your Fach. I mean, my Fach isn't it's like yours, but it's you have a lot of high notes, a lot of low notes, a lot of middle, and to put them all on your little vocal cord, to think here, 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 and so I try to minimize that I think I'm starting on this spot, and that's where I feel it, and I go on there. Even if I have octave jumps, I say if it's a G to a G, it's a G, it's not G. And I try not to go like that, because as soon as I go like that, I try to think like this, or rather the opposite way. If I go down, I think like this, and if I go up, I go like this, because otherwise this becomes like a pretzel here in my throat.
Wonderful, wonderful. So could you show something for your wonderful arias? For example, when you start with some piano, maybe it will be better to explain with some aria.
Okay, I don't know if I'll get this now. The Pace.
Yeah, well, it's wonderful. Pace start with.
Okay, let's see. It's actually written with forte, but I like it more if it's not forte. Let's see, I don't know if it will work. Okay, normally you breathe in and must be relaxed, because the aria comes at the end of the opera after you've then also waited ages,
of course.
And then everybody expects you to be great. But anyway, and let some breath out, and don't think too high. It's let's say if the orchestra ends on this F, I try to keep this in my head before I go to that.
Sounds like one.
Yeah, you try to keep it like it's like a mosquito, or I don't know, but it has a different. It really makes a difference what you think. Okay. I think singing is a lot of time 90% psychological. Because
I ever said it that
yes,
it's just.
And I'm also
psychological thing.
Yeah, I'm honest, and I'm sure everybody has that. When all the singers, I don't know, I can only speak for myself, but I can think that if I'm scared of something, if I have a problem with different notes or an aria, then I really have a problem, because it sits here, and as soon as you have a problem here, it goes to the voice as well. Yeah. So it's very psychological. You have to try and get yourself, if there's a note that you don't like, you must start loving that note. And you must do everything to just forget that this note is difficult. Otherwise, just don't sing the arias, So I do that sometimes. Like, no, I don't sing that anymore. No, I don't sing the role. But I try to work also from the text. And if you can use the p and the breath also, yeah. That didn't sit as good as the previous one, but and then you can, depending on how much you feel you have, you can make it louder. Sometimes it happens that if you start a note softly and you want to make it louder, it just doesn't work, and then you shouldn't give too much, because then it also you can crack. And the other way around, if you start loud and it doesn't sit totally correctly, and you just move something in the body, and then it's also you can't go softly. So it's with forte diminuendo. That's why this exercise is so great, because you just have with an e, the voice, as soon as you make e, the vocal cords close, and you have the best options to work from, to make it soft or louder, but never lose the support.
This is the problem. Okay, come here.
Yes.
This is the problem when somebody speaks about vocal chords. That more? Yeah.
Yes.
More. Okay. So it's very interesting, because you start here, and it's whole working come from here. But you think about this in
I
your
think
vocal
the middle of the chord.
Yeah. But I think we should understand that this not meaning that we need to make something to feel.
No,
here. Nothing of feeling is of
it's here. Although I must say, when I sing but you don't. It must be relaxed here.
Yeah, because sometimes we think, okay, score vocal chords, then nothing of it's.
No, it must be anything that you need to support your, because I mean it's very fragile, the vocal cords, and I always say there's a difference between singing with your vocal cords, which is good, and singing on the vocal cords, which is bad. Because if you sing on, it's like you press on it, and you just I mean, everybody, we have other places where we sometimes also support. Sometimes you support a little bit here or with the tongue, which one should try not to do, but it's normal. But one should try to keep this free, and all the tension must be here, because if you have all that pressure here, it doesn't last long, and then you have problems with getting a big vibrato, and because that's if the support and the breathing and the way you sing does not, if that's not correct, then the voice starts going back.
So the voice about this vibrato, because it's a huge problem for many people, because a lot of people or don't have nothing of vibrato, or have like this vibrato. I have sometimes very huge vibrato because of to be tired, and when I'm tired, my
your body doesn't work.
Yeah, doesn't work, and in the middle of my voice it starts to be very vibrato. So how are you working on vibrato?
A good thing is, as you say, if you're tired, I find that when my body is tired, then you must work so much harder to sing, because you start losing. Then you sing from here, and then the voice gets flat, not just from sound here, but that could also happen. But the voice like goes because you don't have this going down to make the sound round, and because the sound has to go like that.
Yeah.
What did I want to say? And also with the vibrato is, if you sometimes sing something and you want to make the voice bigger than it is, and you start pressing or forcing, and then the voice goes like that as well. I'm sure that if you start with getting down the support, especially in the middle voice, so you will not have that, because for a lot of your coloratura, you can't have it too low, that, because then you lose the flexibility at the top. I think I don't sing here like you do, but I know that if I do some coloratura, I try to just do the same, stay singing with my chords and not on them. And a very good thing is like if you have a problem with the vibrato, that it's getting too much, to get the voice back is to try to sing with exercises for yourself, that if you go that you just go on all the vowels with then it relaxes. You have to train the voice to back to its normal state, because as I say, if you sing like that too long, it's difficult to get back the freshness of the voice.
Okay, so for example, I need to start in my middle voice, yeah, like this. Without nothing,
without, try as little as possible. At the end you can to relax perhaps, but it's always better, and you just do it, you don't do it too high, you don't do it too low, you do it in the middle or where it's comfortable.
And how to open then this?
Then you must think, then it helps if you have this picture of where your vocal cords are or where you are singing it, that you think that you are pulling it. A good exercise also is like, the siren of the fire brigade. If you go, it's also to get that to pull. If you go like, think that you go, let's a little bit. Go. You think, and you have the note, and try just to think that you are pulling it. Don't sing it, pull it. And it goes this down, because one can't just have the bottom, because then it falls like that, which is not good. It also happens if you are too open at the top when you start, you can't go up with a note. So that's why I try to focus very small when I need to open up a note, as I say, and then I try to have this feeling that you are pulling it down and pulling it up, and not just singing the notes.
It's wonderful. Could you show some more examples from, for example, Leonora, or maybe something else, with this sensation of your voice is going like this, and to show how it working, to keep this way.
Okay.
I will stay here. It's wonderful, yes, it's wonderful.
I don't know what I should take here. I should have brought the Ariadne, I didn't think of that.
No, I think it will be wonderful with some more famous.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Okay, in the butterfly there's one place where you can start small and open up a little bit. Let me see. Io senza dare sposta me ne starò nascosta un po' per celia. And from here. Io non have it. Even if you go softer, you can use pulling it.
Could you go on to I like this one.
Then it's difficult to
develop it.
It depends. Sometimes it sits well, sometimes. But
this aspetta, it's totally here, and then it aspetta. You keep.
I try to keep it focused, and pull down to open up the note into the body. Because if you pull put all that tension on the vocal cords, it will start bleeding, I think. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what that sounded like now. It's most probably quite loud. Sorry.
No, nothing of sorry. Yeah, totally young voice, yes.
What's also another thing, which is one of my favorites, I always say songs, although it's the aria with Summertime. Where you have it the other way around. Where I like going soft. It's quite in the end. Let's see what's left. And this is the same, that you use it, but you don't give so much power. If it works, I hope, please. With daddy and mommy standing by. So there you can go into the soft one.
Wonderful.
With the same, but not pulling with so much effort. You keep it sort of there. The support is still there.
Support
but
is still
not.
there.
I don't give so much.
Something like this, opening here.
Yeah.
I still.
Yeah.
It's difficult for me. Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
You can work on summertime.
No, nothing goes summertime.
Yeah.
It's wonderful, Sally. How you do it?
Practice. It was a lot of work. When I started, I could not sing soft notes. My teacher she sat behind the piano, like this, laughing, because when we did this normal, there's also an exercise that people say, oh, you must sound like an owl. You go, which is fine. You can just do it soft, do it loud, to try to keep the same place, which is also an exercise one can try. And I think I got up to a G when it's like, oh, I just didn't want to work. And then after not thinking about it too much, and after singing a little bit more, one day I realized, oh, I ran to the piano, I thought, it's working, I'm getting it. And it's like when I started thinking about the same place and not going bop, bop, like that. And it was especially during Traviata, because I won't sing it anymore, I think, but no, I won't sing it anymore. I loved singing Traviata, and that was the first time that I really could work on it, especially the second aria, that one. The first rehearsals I always cracked, and I sometimes didn't get the notes, and I felt terrible, and I thought I'm going to stop singing, I can't do it. And being forced, because everybody's watching, and you're the Traviata, you have to be good. And then I thought, damn it, it's only an A, why is it so difficult? So, and that's when it started. I worked a lot on it, and you have to get to know your own voice. You must know what your voice can do, and to. I don't do everything with it, but I'm not thinking, oh, I must look after it too much, because if you look after, how shall I put this? As I say, I won't go out and scream and stuff like that. But it's for me, I think it's like a muscle. You have to train it, and you have to, of course, look after it. But if you do it correctly and you support with your body, and even if you sing a lot, it will go with you for a long time. If you look after it in that way. So, but you have to. The body must work with it. It's not just the vocal cords. Everything is together. Yeah. And the way you feel sometimes as well. Sometimes you can't sing, and then just don't. I always say, I mean, there are times when you have a performance and you're in a very bad state and you have to sing. I've experienced that. And then you just go on number, you just put on, then you say, okay, automatic, it's a performance, you're on stage, you forget everything and you sing. But that's the first place where all the emotions come out, is on the voice.
Yes, of course.
Yes, yeah. So, one has to get to know his own voice, and then you start experimenting. I can always give ideas, and I can work with voices, and I say, okay, no, try this and try that, and it's always, you might feel it differently than I do, and but it's working on, I can hear if it's not on the right place, so I don't even have to look at someone if he sings. I can tell them what they do. I think so. I have a good feeling and a good ear, and yeah.
It's wonderful. So, Sally, about this jump, when you make this jumping from low to high, and you need to do it like in Traviata, you need to do it in.
Don't lose Aliona.
Don't lose Aliona. So you think, for example,
I go like that.
I think it's. I think this. Okay.
And then, I haven't done Traviata in 20 years, but that you feel, it's like, it doesn't sit the way where I want it, but I think I try to let a little bit of breath out, use the N, and think like that. Instead of when I go like that, I won't even try to sing it, because it's like that, like my exercise, the witch, don't want to have that. So at some of these I have to work to get it into the body and into the voice again. But if you want to try,
I want you to show it, because it's nothing of Traviata. I'm nothing of Traviata. Maybe in Butterfly or in Tosca. You have Tosca here?
I have Tosca.
Maybe,
I don't even know if there's something. What is in it? Oh, that's also one thing. Oh my God, one has to start with
yeah, for example, yeah.
You lie on the floor, you've nearly been raped by Scarpia, and then you have 3 seconds. What's also good there is that you have the stage helps a lot, the emotions help a lot. And sometimes I always think I don't like people who sing perfect, because just singing pretty, it's like a lot of people can sing pretty. I like emotions, and even if a note doesn't work, or is ugly or cracks, that's like, you know.
Yeah, people can forgive singer who sing not perfect but with emotion.
With emotion.
But the people couldn't forgive perfect singer but bad actor.
But bad acting. That's true. Let's see. Okay, I don't know. This is also a lot of. Because normally you're lying on the floor. It's like, you know. So that's not a good one.
You start this VC, not. So what I hear that you start this VC with V, yeah, V,
and then you try to stay on the same place where you've started. Otherwise, one has too many vowels. When you start on a sound or a place where it is, try to keep it there. If it's not good, then try to change it. But normally, the best is to go on where you were, and then you can always make it better if you have a next sentence or a next phrase to sing. It sometimes happens that you just start and the vocal cords don't close, and it's like, it comes like that. That's why also to let it out. And there must be, what's important is that there must be a core, what's the word, another core, another word for being in the center of something, but it has to have an energy and a core. Do you understand that? Then I'm between languages and I can't get to the word. It must be so that it goes further, that the sound does not just stop here. There are a lot of notes that you can...
Think about the way,
there are singers who are loud next to you and you don't hear them further than the 6th row, or maybe here the 2nd, I don't know. So they must be... it's like the middle of a fruit also, that the pip of the fruit, that you must have this core of the voice, the center. There must be the center, and if you have that, then the voice also travels, even if you have a soft note. If you have a soft note and it's just even if it's nice and soft, you won't hear it. It must have a little bit of please write to me if anybody can find the word I'm looking for. Must sing with the center of your voice with anyway, yes. so that it also travels. Because if you have no, this word that I can't find at the moment.
I understand. I think everybody understands that we have to use this one first step, and then to let the sound
to move
as well. in this.
What also helps is, for me, I like if I put, some people don't have a good R in front, and if you put a T in front of it, normally you have a good place to start. So if you have with
place to start.
So it has to have that center. If you don't in the center, then it doesn't move, and
this place, your place when you start, and you must concentrate place. Yes.
And from there you work the rest of aria. What you do? I don't know. The end is also. I haven't sung this for a long time.
Yeah, Sally's wonderful. I know. It's a lot of applause. A lot of applause.
I don't know if I'll get this, but this is quite a difficult part in this little aria of Tosca lying on stage, and which helps. I like that. I don't mind it. I died as Desdemona as well, like something like that, and then you have that at the also quite un fil di voce at the top, which is nuts. But anyway, let's see. And then sometimes you can go in the same, or you can go. Sometimes make it straight, and then a little bit of, depending on what one feels like on stage. It's also a big thing if it works or not. There's a big difference in singing an aria and singing the whole role.
Yeah, of course. So you have to think about different.
What the circumstances are. Oh, I once had the skirt was too big, and they put a needle in it, and the needle went open on stage. So it was like...
oh my God!
In Marta, or Flotov, it was so funny, because it hurt, and I was thinking, and you support, and I think, shh. Oh, and afterwards, I could then, but I mean, you can't like go like this on stage. It was just like thinking, what is this? It's like, okay, but... I can write a book on things that's happened on stage.
Of course, you could write it. It's a lot of
good things and bad things.
Wow. It's like totally wow. So maybe somebody want to ask something, so write it down. But I think the most important, I understand that you think of this place when you start, and then you make like
the center of the voice, of the vocal cords. Yes, to have that point. This, and then from there you go like that, because if with your singing you sing things that are from here to I don't know where or there, very high. You can't fit that onto the vocal cords if you start thinking like this. You'll go crazy.
I start.
So you have this, and try to sing each note as close to the other one that you just sang.
close, and this.
Like chewing gum or like whatever, that you pull to the note. You don't just sing it. It's much better for the vocal cords anyway. Then you can sing the whole day if you like. It's better than speaking. Speaking is bad because you don't support.
Support. Everybody start to support. It's wonderful.
That's difficult to learn. Support, although it is, when you finally realize, it's so easy, but it is so difficult to learn.
It's so difficult to
because you
explain.
start pressing here and pressing there, and you get fast and you can't do anything. And but it's a phase, or the phases you have to go through. You have to do. And I always say, if you have a big, I once did a class singing the Casta Diva lying on my back with the book here on my stomach, so everybody could see what I was supporting and where the book was going up and down. That was in Cape Town. Yes. And then you feel if you're supporting with your back, which is also good if you have a big, these, if you have something to put around your waist like a belt, but a broad one, and you make it tighter and you press against that, because you have to you must let your body get used to this, because it's not normal anymore. People, if you look at a baby, see how high they can scream,
Of course.
see how long they can scream. It's because they use this. You must see, even if you do an exercise, I do it with students, for breathing. If you lie on the floor and you start breathing, then you'll see you are breathing here most of the time. Stand up, what do they do?
Yeah.
No. You can do that sometimes if you have something too quick and you don't, but you must always get down and always let the old breath must get out. Otherwise it's breath on breath on breath, and then you can't sing anymore.
Sally, when you need to keep one note, for example, in legato or
a long note. Yeah.
What happened here in your body? You pull down, you pull inside. What happened in your?
What happens in my body? I try to not think that it's one note that I'm keeping on a long note. I try to think that I'm singing it again and again, instead of going on, instead of like okay, if you have to the breath pushes the note out instead of the other way around. So you have the breath coming behind the note, and I keep it here, and I think of the ball, which is very funny. Today I wrote to a colleague of mine, or he wrote to me, and he said, oh, it's going to be interesting with Aljona, what she's doing. I said, what is she doing? I haven't looked because I didn't have my Facebook thing there. So he wrote to me, and then I said, oh, I must think about it, but I don't have time, I have to go for tennis. So he said, which is a very good thing. Singing is like the tennis ball. Just as the tennis ball must go over the net, the voice must go over the orchestra pit, which I found very funny, but it's like that. Yeah. And maybe you can also think of this as the voice must keep moving. If it dies, if you don't have any breath, then it goes with... Then it comes, it sounds, it goes straight, it goes flat, and it's ugly.
But you keep it.
And I keep this here, yeah.
It's something like
yeah. And every time, just give it a little bit of a, as if you are doing this. Just give it a little bit, and it's to get your body used to doing this. It takes a little bit of time, and then there you have a phase where the body doesn't want to do anything because it's confused. But as soon as you get the muscles used to working, it helps a lot. Because then you can have all the support here, and you are free here to do whatever you want.
And when you do some legato thing, for example, what what happened here? You going through with your belly on, or you keep it in?
No, I never go in.
No,
Try to whenever I try to, because when you lose breath, the body tends to go in.
Yeah.
But I try to keep it out. I know of a colleague of mine, she does it the other way around. She goes in, which works for her, but it doesn't work for me, because then I go, I sort of have a feeling my lungs are going flat because then I tend to go like this, and then this pushes down on your diaphragm, and then you're not free. So I try to keep the body like this without it going too much like this. I try to push it so that it stays like this, that it goes a little bit like this and doesn't go in totally. Of course, if I'm out of breath, it does then most probably go in. I don't know. I have to think.
Yeah, the problem is that, for example, you are teaching too, and you need to explain what happened with your body to your students. But for example, a lot of the problem we have, we singers have, that a lot of us don't think what happened with body in the moment when we sing. And then we get to a point when we understand we have some problem with technique, but we don't understand why. And because it's our singing way, it's such in and without understanding what happened. So we need to say stop. Now I'm trying to really think about every millisecond what happened when I'm singing, and it's quite difficult because
it is if you are in, like, you have to sing roles. You can't say, sorry, I have a problem now, I need 6 months to work on it. Of course, the thing is, with what I've also experienced with singers who've sung a long time, when these problems come, you have to, it's good to have someone else to work with, so someone else can hear and say, okay, I hear this, or I see this, maybe you can try this and this and this. But it takes time then, and then the thing is, if you know your voice and you know, it's small steps. Sometimes it's something very small that you might be doing wrong, or something small you can work on, and it's perfect again after that. So the biggest thing is one starts panicking, and then you think, oh, I can't, and that you shouldn't. Don't panic.
Don't panic.
No, don't panic. Just put your crown on. Don't panic.
Oh, this is very, very difficult to do.
I know. I say that myself, and I panic sometimes as well. Really.
Panic.
I'm honest about that. I know.
Panic. Yeah.
And then you have to just try and find out what's wrong, and try to find ways to fix it.
So, and how you're working on this body things when, for example, you need to go to audition, and not of normal concert when nobody judging you, but when somebody is watching you like a
I hate
everybody.
I hate auditions. I'm bad at auditions. I did an audition at a theatre. I wanted to put my head into the ground there. I wanted to make a hole and just put it in and just go. Because
how you prepare? What do you do?
The best thing is to sing something that you are so good with that you can, if they wake you up at 3 in the morning, you can sing without warming up. Even if they are looking for, doesn't matter. They ask you what you want to sing. You say, I want to sing myself free with this aria, or I would love you to hear this, or maybe just a part of it if they want something else. Don't make that mistake. I've made it, and it's you should sing with what you're happy with, and which
to avoid this extra stress.
So if you start good, it's good for the head, and it's good for the voice. Because if you start with things that they want and you're not sure of it, it's bad.
But if you, for example, if you need to audition with for a role,
Yep.
and you know that on stage you could do this part of aria wonderful because of movements, because of stage, because it's another place, not audition. But for example, an audition, you need to sing this shit of aria, and you think, and you know, it's happened with me with Königin, with Queen of the Night. They ever want this Queen of the Night, and it's one thing when you sing it on stage, and another one, then you sing it like this on piano and an audition. And it's okay, I understand it's happened not only with me and with Königin of the Night. Königin of the Night, wonderful.
Queen of the Nacht.
Queen of the Nacht, yeah, Queen of the Nacht. But with your type of voice, it's happened too.
Oh yes. I've done quite a lot of auditions, and I think I can say that, let's say I did I've done a lot. I don't know how many, but I was happy with 5 maybe.
Wow.
It's like you're singing it.
5 auditions in 34 years.
It's like, yes, you have, like when they were really excellent. It's like I think, I was good, which I don't do a lot. It's like,
what happened?
I'm never happy. I'm never happy. And then sometimes you do an audition, and the people, they hear what's possible if they know something about voices, which unfortunately is getting less and less. But if they know something about voices, it doesn't matter if you sing a note and it's not there, or if your F is not there, which it normally is, but that's no problem. We make it difficult for ourselves because we are so... Because I am very... Yes, I'm never... Well, not never, but very rarely happy with when I sing things. I'm always, this wasn't good, and I could have done that better. Oh my goodness, I couldn't. That was bad, and damn it, can I sing this again? I'm going to stop singing, So, but I've had rather okay auditions, and then I've had like terrible auditions, and then I've had a few good ones, but not many that like really was where I think, yes, if you don't take me, you're stupid. And it happens that they don't take you, even if you sing great.
It's awful. This audition is
difficult, and it's because it's so personal. You sing one note, you know it's bad. They don't have to tell it to you. And then if they still tell you, yes, but this, we are people. We don't put the record on, CD or whatever, USB stick.
But the problem, everybody have today YouTube, and here the excellent recording piece of a lot of singers, and everybody think that I need to sing only like this, because if I do not sing only like this, so I'm bad. And I think it's awful. I want to ask you, so how it was when people didn't this time when YouTube,
where the audition was so bad?
No. How it was when YouTube not exist, in past? What how is changing today? The opera sing, I don't know, skills thinking, because you have a lot of years to be in career, and you see how the taste changing, the ways of audition, of
it's really difficult, and sometimes it's not good. The world is so small now, with everybody being able, not now, flying all over. You can't fly, don't fly. You have a singer from Canada, you can have someone. The world has become so small, and there are so many singers. And the problem is that if they don't like your nose, or I had a lot of problems because I'm tall. You go on stage, then you already lose it because the tenor is here and the soprano is there.
It's amazing thing.
Or you're too fat. they once said to a beautiful girl, we did an audition in Munich, at some other agency, and she was a little bit, she wasn't skinny, she was just, I don't know, I wouldn't even say she was overweight or something, she was just a little bit more than normal, let's say a few pounds. Yeah. So the agent said to her, yes, you have to lose weight, you're too fat. And it was so great, she said to him, I don't think so.
Wonderful.
It was so good. But the problem is that you go on stage and they already think no, or oh maybe, or yes. You put into a little thingy, you sing this is your fach, this is how tall you are, no, we can't put you in, or I don't like your nose, or your hair, or your, I don't know what, or I just don't like you, that happens. And it's become too easy to get someone else, because there are so many singers without jobs, and there are so many good singers
as well.
In the past, it was like that as well. I had a few auditions where some of the agents, when they sit and they look at you like this from top to bottom, and then you stand there, you feel like standing like this. And psychological thing. Wow. Yes, yeah. But it's very easy we have the same sometimes if you meet someone. The first idea you get of them, you like them or you don't. It's sometimes the first idea you get of someone, it's not always right. Most of the time I have a good knowledge or feelings with people. I sometimes I get this feeling and then I just stay calm and so, but it's so easy for them just to say, no, I don't like you, or I don't like your voice, or you're too tall, or you're too fat, you're too small, you're too thin, you're too don't know what. They always get an excuse, and it's been like that for quite a long time, but it's getting worse.
What changed the most in this 30 years singing in opera world? What is totally changing? For example, you see maybe, I don't know, some ways of thinking, ways of directing, ways of, I don't know, what.
I think there's less respect for what we do.
Less respect?
Yes. Wow. I'm lucky. It was so nice today. A lady on the street stopped me and she asked. She said she was so glad that it looks as though we're starting again, and she was glad that I'm still there and everything. And but it's changed a lot. What the people think of what singers do. There used to be like this. Not that I think that we are something special, we're not better than other people, but it's a lot of. They don't realize how much work it is to be a singer, how much you have to do, and how personal some things are. If they make a stupid, say something stupid, and they don't think it will, that you might.
So in the past it was different.
And it used to be with you had all these. My goodness, when I started in Europe. It was still like that you got flowers thrown over the orchestra.
Wow. In Russian you created still like this.
And you got like, people wanted your photo, now they just go into internet and get your photo. People write you nice letters. I still have, it used to be like fan post, as they would say. I think we have, but I think it's in general, and I don't know, maybe it will change now where people might realize how fragile life is and everything that we do, and that we should respect people, doesn't matter what they do. But as singers and actors and everybody at the theatre, I think they don't really, I don't think that they realize how much work it really is.
Yeah, the people think that we come on stage, open
you
mouth,
sing, what do you work? Yes, you're a singer, what do you do else? Nothing, I play tennis, I mow the lawn,
Your life is wonderful.
I sing in don't know how many languages you have to. What's also changed is, I think, but it depends. There are directors who really also work with us as people, with feelings and emotions and everything, and not just like, you go here, you do this, I want this, but you have that as well. Unfortunately, it's not all over, but I think in some ways the directors, I don't know why they are directors of opera, because I sometimes get the feeling they don't like the music. They cut music, they say, oh, this bothers me, or this isn't nice, let's just cut it, it's not part of the opera, I don't need it, it's not that I don't understand. If you don't like the music, don't be a director of an opera, then do Schauspiel, you know, then, and I think some of the directors are like that, not all. I've worked with wonderful directors, but I've also worked with a few where I think, I don't know why they're doing it, because the music does not mean anything to them. They just put something on stage, and I hate that.
Because of...
I hate that.
Because of...
Yes.
Okay, I think we need to finish, because
it was... I'm going to miss, what is it, 8:15? No.
So we are really happy to have today here Sally. Thank you,
hope
Sally.
it was, I could help someone.
Yeah, it was really interesting.
It was fun.
Yeah, it's fun, without
yes.
this place to pumping, to open, and thank you very much.
Pleasure. I didn't know how it would be after my tennis match today.
It was really wonderful. It was really wonderful. Thank you very much.
It was nice. Thank you, Ariana.
Yes, and tomorrow we'll have concert here in theater.
Yes.
Our first outside after quarantine concert. So let's see what will happen, because of rain, because of everybody.
It's going to be fine.
Yeah, I think so. You could see on the website of theater, I think, all about this concert, because every Sunday we have.
Every Sunday.
Yeah,
yes.
Every Sunday we will have near of the theater. On air, wonderful concert. So thank you very much to be today with us. Bye bye. To next Saturday. Bye 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 bye.
Goodbye.